What's up, fans? Sydney Colson here. Super excited to be in Indy. Cannot wait to see y'all in Cambridge.
No one is willing to play for the Indiana Fever. That's what Cheryl Swoops and other Caitlin Clark critics have been claiming for months. But earlier this week, two-time WNBA champion Sydney Colson landed in Indiana with a statement that completely broke that narrative.
I'm super excited about it. I'm going from a team that was in the media, like people are excited to watch us, into another team that is arguably the most talked about team in sports right now, especially in women's sports. So this fan base, it's exciting to be a part of a team that has a lot of positive energy around it.
From the moment she held up her new Fever jersey to her energetic appearance at the Pacers game, Colson's first day with the team was a clear rebuttal to everyone who doubted this franchise. And what she said at her press conference might just be the strongest defense of Clark we've heard from a veteran player so far. Ready? Let's go.
Oh, girl, I'm gonna put on some other clothes. Oh, dope. I thought I saw a reflection when I was coming across the street. I'm like, wait a minute. Hello. What up, baby? How are you? Long time no see. It's been a month.
Remember when Cheryl Swoops claimed that nobody wants to play for the Fever? Well, Sydney Colson just shattered that narrative, and her first day in Indiana tells a whole different story. From the moment Sydney stepped through the doors at the Fever facility, the atmosphere shifted instantly. The team's viral arrival video captured teammates and staff rushing to greet her with true excitement and open arms. This wasn't some orchestrated PR stunt. You could feel the genuine joy radiating from everyone in the building as they welcomed their newest teammate.
Hey. Hi. Hi.
I know.
Hi.
Lexi,
Hi.
what's up, baby?
Oh, it's good to see you.
You too. How are you?
Good. How are you?
What's up, baby?
How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. What up, babe?
Who let you in here?
Man, how are you? Good to see you.
What up, too?
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
I heard bad things about you from AJ.
Horrible. You know
Good. Oh, geez, right there. Oh, geez.
How you doing?
How you doing? I'm Susie.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Already met. Okay.
What makes this even more impactful is the glaring contrast between this warm reception and the sharp criticism from Swoops and other detractors, who insisted that veteran players would steer clear of playing alongside Caitlin Clark. However, the footage reveals an entirely different narrative, one of solidarity and eager anticipation for what's ahead.
Aww. Dope. Yes. It's so weird to see yourself in new colors. I love it. I love it. What's this?
Definitely they sent you a fever. And I want to make sure you had one.
You should have seen Sydney's face when she first laid eyes on her new Fever jersey. The pride and excitement were unmistakable as she held it up, grinning from ear to ear, expressing her love for the new team colors. It wasn't just about putting on another uniform. You could tell this moment signified something much deeper for her. A new chapter, a fresh opportunity, and the chance to be part of something special brewing in Indiana. Her interactions with the Fever staff were just as revealing. General Manager Amber Cox didn't hold back when she said, "I think she's going to bring a lot of joy to our lives this season."
Somebody we targeted really, really early to come in and play that backup point guard role. We have ultimate faith and trust in her in any situation that we put her in. She's going to be able to lead our team. And obviously, great personality as well, brings a lot of fun and levity to the locker room. Again, that experience, knows when we need which side, right? Like the serious, the tough veteran leadership versus the, fun, playful Sid. So I think she's going to bring a lot of joy to all of our lives this season.
The immediate chemistry Sydney displayed with everyone she met speaks volumes about the culture being built within this organization, one that directly contradicts the negative narratives pushed by certain former players. What's particularly striking is how quickly Sydney's arrival video went viral on social media. The Fever's metrics showed the post blew up, gathering thousands of likes and retweets within hours. Fans weren't just celebrating a new player signing, they were rallying around Sydney's genuine excitement about joining the team. That kind of authentic connection can't be faked, and it's exactly what makes the critics' claims look increasingly desperate and out of touch.
I think when we set out in free agency, it was to bring in veteran leadership And we've done that. Players who have had deep playoff runs, we've done that. You look at a player like Sydney Colson, coming off what she's been able to do in Vegas, dating back to her, championship in Texas A&M. She's a winner, knows how to win, knows how to play a role. So she was somebody we targeted really early, but, just looking down the line in free agency, just really excited. When the plan comes together, you feel really good about it. Again, it looks great on paper. We got to get everybody on the court, but overall, really excited about the roster.
But Sydney didn't just show up for the cameras. Her first workout with the team showed exactly why the Fever pursued her from the start. She brought an elite level of dedication, displaying her skills and infectious energy that made it clear why her veteran presence was so valuable. This wasn't someone reluctantly joining a team. This was a player eager to dive in and get started.
A lot of things. It was Amber and Kelly, Stephanie, Kelsey I played with at Athletes Unlimited for several years. Love Caitlin's game, love Aaliyah's game. It made sense. I made this decision mentally before DB and Natasha were even a part of the mix. And so all the new additions, Breezy, Sophie, it's going to be a fun season. And
what makes Sydney's arrival even more meaningful is the timing. Here's what most people don't realize. Sydney made the decision to join the Fever before other stars like Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner signed. This wasn't about following the crowd or jumping on a bandwagon. She chose Indiana because she genuinely wanted to be there, regardless of who else might join the roster afterward. The critics who claimed veterans would steer clear of Indiana have some serious explaining to do now. Not only did Sydney actively choose the Fever, but her genuine excitement about the opportunity directly contradicts the negative narrative surrounding Clark and this franchise.
Now we are looking forward to a new season for the Indiana Fever, now less than 2 months away. And today we formally introduced the team, formally introduced its newest player.
Yes, so here she is. This is guard Sydney Colson. She is joining the Fever following 3 seasons with the Las Vegas Aces. That is where she helped the team win back-to-back WNBA titles in 2022 and 20.
Those critics weren't just wrong about Sydney joining Indiana. They were completely off base about what she'd say once she arrived. During her first press conference with the Fever, Sydney Colson had the perfect chance to give a safe, diplomatic response about Caitlin Clark. Instead, what she said sent shockwaves through the basketball world.
What was it like to watch what Caitlin did for this franchise from afar? Different perspective.
Yeah, no, it was nuts. There's no other way to say it. It was nuts. I think, you're seeing a team that's now affecting the economy in the city. You got people coming from out of town, out of state, out of the country, maybe even to see games. And so that's special.
You've been studying.
Huh?
You've been studying those studies.
Yeah, man, I try to pay attention, but no, it's been cool to see. Caitlin's a remarkable player. She's going to be good here for a long time. So I know people are excited about.
The scene in the Indiana Fever press room was electric. Journalists packed in tightly, cameras poised, all waiting for the veteran champion to either confirm or challenge the narrative that established players resented Caitlin Clark's spotlight. The tension in the room was palpable. For months, critics like Cheryl Swoops had pushed the idea that veterans would feel uneasy with all the attention focused on a rookie. This was the moment of truth.
Stephanie just talked to me about how she saw me fitting in as a piece on court for the team, and that was really important to me. Like you said, I've been in the league. This is my 14th season out of college. And, I've never been considered a lot in free agency. And so for her to see my value, it meant a lot how she was, working me in to be a part of the team. And, I said, I want to play on court more in my last couple seasons in the league if I have that. So this was just the right fit. Right.
When a reporter finally asked the question everyone had been waiting for, what did Sydney really think about Clark's impact on Indianapolis and the WNBA? The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Sydney didn't pause for a second. With complete authenticity and a touch of awe in her voice, she delivered 3 words that would completely dismantle the critics' narrative. It was incredible.
What do you see your role being with this team then, given the roster that you're coming into?
I think similar to other places where I've been. I'm bringing veteran leadership, knowledge, energy, swinging the defensive momentum, and just being that person that's dependable. And I'm going to always come in and do my job, and I'm going to be happy in my role and I'll thrive, whether it's 8 minutes, if it's 15 minutes, if it's 2 minutes. I'm going to play hard and get everybody involved, and I want to win.
The atmosphere in the room shifted. This wasn't the reluctant acceptance many had anticipated. Sydney's body language told the real story. She was genuinely enthusiastic, leaning forward in her seat, gesturing confidently as she elaborated on her answer. There wasn't a trace of resentment in her demeanor. Instead, her expressions conveyed clear respect for what Clark had achieved. Sydney went even further, highlighting the economic impact Clark has had on Indianapolis, drawing fans not just from around the city, but from out of town, out of state, and even out of the country. She spoke of this phenomenon with pride, not jealousy. This wasn't a veteran begrudgingly accepting a rookie's popularity. This was a champion wholeheartedly, embracing it.
I hear and see the things that people say, but I know the true Indiana Fever fans, the ones that love basketball, that they love the WNBA. I'm excited to be playing in front of them and just with this team.
Perhaps the most telling moment was when Sydney referred to the Fever as arguably the most talked about team in sports right now. That statement directly contradicted everything the critics had been saying, far from shying away from the spotlight. That comes with being Clark's teammate. Sydney was embracing it. Her confident posture and genuine smile made it clear. This wasn't just PR talk. She truly meant every word.
Anticipate it being like to be part of all these sellouts and being the biggest show on wherever you go now?
I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be remarkable. And what I always thought about when I was on a team that wasn't getting that kind of visibility, whenever you go play the teams that are, that's when you bring your best game. Because now it's all eyes on your team too, and people, hopefully will be tuning into our games and seeing players from other teams that they like, that are exciting, because there are a lot of good players around this league. So I think what we're going to be able to do, what the Aces, the New Yorks, what we're able to do is elevate the game and get people to respect our entire league, not just a few.
But Sydney wasn't finished dismantling the critics' narrative. In what may be the most powerful endorsement yet from a veteran player, she called Caitlin Clark a remarkable player who would be good here for a long time. No ambiguity, no hedging, no backhanded compliments, just straightforward, genuine respect from one professional to another.
How to persevere, not getting too high or too low, and just playing as a team, and it can make all the world of difference to win. And got a very hungry team here. I've said several times, a lot of people didn't want to see Indiana after their all-star break, how they came and finished the season. Nobody wanted to see them in the playoffs. So I'm excited to see that group back, but also adding in a lot of veteran experience and a lot of win.
The sincerity in Sydney's voice was undeniable. This wasn't empty praise. It was a true recognition of Clark's legitimacy from someone who knows what greatness looks like. For all the talking heads who claimed veterans would resent Clark's rising stardom, Sydney's words and demeanor proved the exact opposite. True champions, as she showed, recognize and respect talent regardless of age or experience.
A lot of players from a lot of places coming together in sort of a new look to a roster like this. What's the secret to making this all gel, ultimately, when it comes time to put it together?
Well, I think that everybody asked the questions that they needed to ask in free agency, and they trusted what they heard. And so now it's just about everybody showing up and doing the role that people expect you to do. If I'm known for my defense and playmaking, I have to come in and do that. People are expecting certain things out of you. The coaches are expecting certain things. Your teammates are. So it's just being a professional, showing up and doing your job so that everything can gel together and come with a good attitude so we can make it work.
Sydney also took a moment to acknowledge the dedicated Fever fan base, saying, "I know the true Indiana Fever fans, the ones that love basketball, that they love the WNBA. I'm excited to be playing in front of them and just with this team." Her words reflected an appreciation not only for the loyal fans, but also for the new energy that Caitlin Clark has brought.
I'm super excited to be in the city, to be in the community, just showing that we care, that we want to immerse ourselves here. And, I think they are welcoming us with open arms.
When the Fever signed Sydney Colson, casual fans saw it as just another roster move, but basketball insiders quickly recognized something far more significant. There's a reason this signing might be the final masterstroke in a championship blueprint that has been quietly taking shape all offseason.
You mean to tell me that two-time WNBA champion, the face of the God Dog League, okay? The Aces' main girl, right-hand man, Sydney Colson is no longer returning to the Aces and is signing with the Indiana Fever. First of all, do the Fever even have any more roster spots open? How many folks are you guys going to sign?
Let's rewind to where the Fever stood before this season. Despite having talented young stars like Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, and Kelsey Mitchell, Indiana struggled defensively and lacked the veteran leadership needed to guide their developing core. They needed players who understood what it takes to win at the highest level. Not just any veterans, but ones who could embrace a team suddenly thrust into the spotlight with Caitlin Clark's arrival. Critics like Cheryl Swoops doubled down on their narrative that no veteran would want to play second fiddle to a rookie getting all the attention. But GM Amber Cox and the Fever front office weren't paying attention to the noise. They were executing a flawless plan.
It's painfully clear, and what I've talked about in my other videos is that the league, the Fever organization are doing everything they should do to make sure their star is happy and that their star gets a ring. I didn't know they were going to load up like this, though. Dewana Bonner, Sydney Colson, just re-signed Kelsey Mitchell. You already have Aaliyah Boston. You have Caitlin. You have Lex.
You might be wondering, why all the fuss about a backup guard? Well, Colson isn't your typical bench player. She's a defensive dynamo with court vision sharp enough to rival an Eagles, and her three-point shot is pure silk. Now imagine those skills paired with Caitlin Clark, or picture Colson running the show when Clark needs a breather on the bench. Scary, right?
Sydney Colson is a two-time WNBA champion, a true vet, an amazing backup point guard. And anytime that CC or any of the guards need to go to the bench, I mean, Sydney Colson always makes the right call, always makes the right decision. So to pick up a vet, a professional like Sydney Colson, and then you also have a vet like Dewana Bonner, and you also have a vet like Kelsey Mitchell, and then you have CC and Aaliyah Boston and Lexi.
Now let's break it down. Colson's not going to light up the scoreboard every night, but that's not why the Fever brought her in. They already have plenty of firepower. What they needed was a secret weapon, someone who can lock down opponents, make the smart play, and knock down shots when it matters most.
I hope that some of y'all, if y'all are not familiar with Sydney Colson, I hope y'all, watch some highlights of her, because don't just be like, oh, Sydney Colson, she barely scored last year. She's not good for the Indiana Fever. No, she is. She is.
But wait, there's more. Colson brings something to the table that can't be measured with stats. Leadership. She's been there, done that, and has the championship rings to prove it. 2 of them, to be exact. That winning mentality is contagious, and for a young team like the Fever, it could be the spark that ignites a championship run.
Actually spoke on this on Sunday, and she had this to say, quote, "I'm excited. Obviously, we made some great moves. I think Kelly and Amber and the whole Fever organization are helping us to win now, and I think that's really important. I think they're putting really good pieces together that are going to complement each other really, really well." And then she continued talking about Steph, their new head coach, and said that Steph taking over as head coach for us, I think, is going to be really great. A great basketball mind, someone that actually called quite a few of my college games. So being able to build that relationship with her and just be in the gym and work on things that she probably saw when I was a freshman in college.
Think about it. The Fever's backcourt is stacked with talent, but they were missing that veteran presence. Someone who's been through the battles and knows what it takes to win at the highest level. Enter Sydney Colson. She's the perfect mentor for Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, guiding them through the ropes and keeping them steady when the pressure mounts.
We knew that Caitlin Clark was this phenomenal talent, but she was entering a league that she was not familiar with. She was a rookie. The Indiana Fever have been actively building and rebuilding their organization and this team, and they have a lot of incredible pieces. But the fact that they were able to get into the playoffs and be a team that, although they didn't, advance far in the playoffs, they were a team that we kept saying, if you face them, they're gonna make it difficult for you. That organization then saw that and said, we're capitalizing on this and we're doing it now.
But Colson's impact extends far beyond just what happens on the court. She's known for being a locker room MVP, the kind of player who keeps spirits high during tough stretches and unites the team when things get rough. In a league where chemistry can make or break a season, that's invaluable. And let's not forget about those clutch moments. Colson has been there before, making big plays in high-stakes playoff games when the lights are brightest and the pressure is at its peak. She doesn't shrink, she shines. That's exactly the kind of player you want backing up your stars.
I won here my senior year at Texas A&M. We played in Conseco. When it was Conseco, we won here, so it just felt like...
But here's where the story gets even more fascinating. Colson's championship journey has a poetic connection to Indianapolis that feels almost scripted. When she won her NCAA championship with Texas A&M back in 2011, that victory took place in none other than Indianapolis, the very city where she now hopes to bring another trophy. It's the kind of full-circle moment that makes you wonder if some championships are simply meant to be.
The Fever is going to run amok this year. You got DeWanna Bonner. Oh, my God. They took Sid. And some of y'all really don't feel like Sid was that valuable. Sid, so valuable. To not see Asia, Sid, Chelsea Gray, KP, and Jackie Young together.
Colson didn't waste any time embracing Indiana basketball culture either. Within her first days in town, she was spotted courtside at a Pacers game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, not just attending, but fully immersed in the experience. She was connecting with fans, soaking in the atmosphere, and becoming a part of the basketball fabric that makes Indiana so special.
Steph White is doing and what the Fever organization is doing is nothing less than phenomenal, in my opinion. They are taking this young, talented core that they have, you know, with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and they're adding veteran players that Stephanie White has already worked with. Let's talk about that too, and has chemistry with and knows the work ethic of. And they are building this super team, make no mistake about it, that is going to give you instant.
What the Fever have assembled around Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston is nothing short of remarkable. With the additions of Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, and Sophie Cunningham alongside Sydney Colson, Indiana hasn't just improved, they've transformed into a legitimate championship contender. This roster now boasts the perfect balance of youth and experience, offensive firepower, and defensive grit.
Champion Sydney Colson is officially signing a one-year deal with the Indiana Fever. So, the Fever just keep on doing what they've been doing. They're not playing no games in Indiana.
First of all, this WNBA free agency will not let us rest. Number one, we literally cannot rest. But also, I love this move again. Like, Sydney Colson is a great player, but she's also a player that is going to add even more to what we're going to talk about later, and that's that chemistry of the team.
Think about what this means for a moment. The young core of Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hall, and Kelsey Mitchell now has championship veterans surrounding them at every position. Natasha Howard brings elite two-way play in the front court, Bonner adds scoring punch and versatility, Cunningham provides shooting and toughness, and Colson delivers defensive intensity and championship leadership from the backup point guard spot. This isn't just a collection of talented players, it's a perfectly constructed roster where each piece complements the others. The veterans will handle the pressure moments while accelerating the development of the young stars. Meanwhile, the youthful energy and talent of Clark, Boston, Hull, and Mitchell give those veterans a real shot at another championship run.